in hour number 3, but I will get Jeff Kerr up to talk some Phillies baseball with us. I punch up an Eagle guest, so I want to give the Phillies equal time. So Jeff Kerr should join me coming up in, a little over 12 minutes from now. I got open lines for you if you want to get in right here, right now. 215-592-9494. As always, if you want to send in a tweet, you can do that too, directly to me at Jody McMahon, JODY-MACMAN. I got a response from my poll question today. What is the percentage chance that Nick Sirianni will be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles 6 months from now? Because 6 months from now, the season will have come and gone, and the Eagles will have won however many regular season games out of 17, and or playoff games, and or the last game of the year, meaning a Super Bowl championship. It's going to be somewhere in there. The result of this Eagles season, and it will determine Nick Sirianni's status as the head coach of the Eagles. I said it at 99% chance to be back. I think the Eagles are going to have a good season. They could have another parade. It's not impossible. They're a Super Bowl contender in my eyes. They're not a Super Bowl favorite, but they are a contender. I don't see how it could go bad enough for Sirianni to be axed, replaced, gassed, call it what you want. So I put it at 99, and Gary Gambino checked in on Twitter and said, Jody Mac, I think there's a 99% chance Sirianni will be back next year and join your program. So he's in the same position I am. Highly unlikely Sirianni is going to pay for this season with his job. I told you if you're just tuning in, I mentioned that I got a call the other night when I did the show after the Phillies Field of Dreams game. Had a call and check in and said that Sirianni was toast, that there was no way he was surviving the season, and he was not going to be the Eagles coach next year. He was pretty adamant about it. I just didn't agree with what he had to say. But I thought it was interesting that someone actually believed more likely than not Sirianni will be gone. I don't think so. So give me a percentage of a chance that Sirianni will be the Eagles head coach next year. I got it at 99. Gary Gambino's got it at 99. What percentage do you have it at that Sirianni will be the coach in 2027? 215-592-9494. Steve from Cherry Hill. How are you, Steve?
Hey, Joe, long-time listener, great show as usual.
Appreciate
And I'm on the 1%, like you're 99%, I'm on the 1% of you. So I'm not a big fan of Sirianni. I think he is on the clock. I think he's number 1 on the clock, and I got possibility that they might come in second in our division. I hope I'm wrong, but the way I look at it, Kobe Dean's a big loss. They have great defense, but I don't see him stopping the run. Campbell gets hurt all the time. Trotter's not the guy like everybody raves about. I think he's just too small. But that's just my opinion.
Hold on. Campbell gets hurt all the time. He was a rookie last year who got replaced when Kobe Dean came back. He didn't get hurt. He had an injury issue.
Good morning. How are you? 90% good. I what? Yes. Thank you very very much. I got everything, and it doesn't say on the side there. It doesn't have start streaming. It stop streaming. Auto stop. Stop record. Start recording. I must have missed one thing at the end. I didn't when I hit the show and I didn't hit select broadcast. Okay, let me know. Should I keep talking? Okay, thanks. I'm on. Okay, I see. Thank you very much for your instructions, everybody. If anybody listening right now, we are on Sports Saturday for another Saturday, and Jeffrey, in a couple minutes, we'll talk some Eastern football. Oh. Okay, it should be really interesting. And a week from today, there'll be not in Doylestown, but there'll be Central Buck South. Yeah, as I think as I know where CB West is, of course, Doylestown, and must be south of that, going towards Philadelphia, somewhere's a few miles past. I've never been to the tournament at Escape Rock. Have you? Yeah. No, CB South we're talking. That's right. I've got my south, east, and west all messed up. So, yes, they are. Yeah, they do. Yes. So, yes. So, beautiful day in the Lehigh Valley for a change. Yeah. They say tomorrow afternoon we may pay for some or nice weather for a change. So, yeah, I'm interested to know. I didn't stop down this week. Are you allowed to do any kind of drills, or is this all getting in shape this past week? Okay. Yes. So we should tell our listeners, anybody has been listening to us, they were more than welcome, and we will start our official show right now by telling everybody I'm with Jeff Achenzi, my partner in JAJL Sports Radio, and we will be in Doylestown in less than 2 weeks for Eastern Area High School football kickoff. Also have Corky Blake with me after Jeff, and then Danny Rush will join me to co-host, and we'll talk to Mark Wogenrich about Penn State football, and there's big news out of Happy Valley locally concerning Peyton Falzone. Well, Jeff and I can talk about that, to whet your appetites for Mark Wogenrich. And of course, Bruce Nagy will close the show. So Jeff, we'll open the show right now officially. If you listened to us before, we weren't saying anything out of order. So Jeff, you mentioned you paid your condolences to me. A young lady that went through the Eastern Area School District for 13 years, Lauren Luce, passed away at age 29 years old. Lauren had pediatric brain cancer, and she fought 13 years while she was in school in Easton. And then after graduating from Easton for another, 11, 12 years up at West Point, where her dad is the assistant head football coach, John Luce, we're talking about. But Lauren succumbed after a lengthy battle. She was involved, her dad and her John, the defense coordinator at Lafayette at the time, and then her mother, Mary Ann, started Lauren's First and Goal. Are you familiar with that? Yes, it was a clinic that they came up with. And until the pandemic, it ran every year at Metzger Field, right across the street from my house. You know where the baseball field is? There was a lot of football practice fields at the time before Lafayette modernized everything with, for turf, for soccer, field hockey, soccer, you name it, they have it. But they had a lot of grass fields, and many coaches came through to be the keynote speaker over the years. Former Penn State University coach James Franklin was there. Both John and Jim Harbaugh. There were just numerous headline speakers, and Lauren would always introduce them. And it was a great clinic. Many college coaches came in. John Luce had such a network. They came in as far away as Ohio State to come in for the clinic. Of course, all the local schools participated. Muhlenberg, Moravian, Lehigh, their arch rival. It was, and most of the schools from the Patriot Leagues were there, and the Colonial Athletic Conference. It was the kids could sign up. It was approximately, say, $20 per student, and if you signed up as quarterback, you got a lot of quarterback reps. With different coaches who ran different offenses. Get your fundamentals sharp. It was always held in June, and it was just fantastic. We had a lot of workers, and the place Metzger Field would have about 2,000 to 3,000 campers that weekend, Jeff. It was just fantastic. Three, yeah, and Tim Monsman was one of the big players in this. Tim really helped out, like I said, because of his time being a Lafayette grad. Tim gave all his time. Like I said, John Troxel, the present coach at Lafayette, at the time was the head football coach of Franklin Marshall. He was on the board to start before he left for his first head coaching gig, and it was such a team effort. Like I said, there was books, there was everything, and it was just a great day. You would hear bullhorns, and everybody would go from one station to another station, just like a football practice. As you coach, you hear something, let's go, let's drill. And they would have a lunch break. Businesses were fantastic in the Eastern area. They would donate hoagies. They would donate pizza, for the campers and the coaches. It was just, for me, working there from, I think, until 2019, before the pandemic, it was fantastic. And they continued it after the pandemic, but it was virtual, Jeff. Yeah, it was virtual the last since the pandemic, the last 6 years or so. I'm not sure they'll ever get back physically, but we'll wait and see. But I think they'll continue it because they are such dedicated family. John and Marianne are, and their younger daughter Gracie, who's a great athlete herself. So she touched many lives in Easton, and and I'm very sorry to see her go, but she may be out of her suffering, and she was just a fantastic young lady, and I'll miss you, Lauren. Securities, yeah, and secure. Wow. Right. What was his name? Okay. I sure I sure hope the young man is doing well and is in remission and stays that way the rest of his life. So there's a feel good story, and Lauren's story was a feel good story because, like I said in my Facebook posting, just her attitude, always smiling and coming in the next day and saying, "Here's another day. I'm going to keep on fighting." And Urban Meyer was there. There was just so many coaches there, Jeff, at that clinic at Lafayette those years. There was a who's list, and it was fantastic. And I think I enjoyed Treasurer like this. I think John Hardball was the best I ever heard of all the speeches. So, so Lauren, Oh, the Frank passed away. I didn't know that. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I knew Frank very, very well. We came in contact over the years because, as you know, I've been doing high school wrestling since 1974. So had many years with Frank. Frank and Bob Zarbatani had some epic battles in the 70s, along with Charlie Bartlett Jr., another pillar that passed away no, a year ago. So, like I said, some fantastic mentoring. I always respected Frank, and one of the greatest things about Frank was what the Top Hat tournament, which Easton's in now. It used to be one of the number one tournaments at Christmas time during Frank's heyday, and they would be announcing the wrestlers and the Parade of Champions, and Frank would walk in with a female acquaintance as they were doing it. His assistant coaches were doing the Parade of Champions for him. Frank got there in time to coach, but Frank, he was a great character. You know, you can be a character, but this guy was a great character, and I had many conversations with him. I think the dual meets against Phillipsburg were all out wars at Memorial Gymnasium or at the pit. I mean, he stopped Phillipsburg's 59 match winning streak a year after Thad Turner went to Lehigh. He beat Jan Dutt, and they had like 3,800 people at Memorial Gym that night. And Liberty won. And then later on in 1975, Easton had a 41 match winning streak, and they defeated Easton to stop that winning streak. So Frank's program was right up there with everyone's in the Lehigh Valley, including Phillipsburg, Easton. We're talking Liberty and Saucon Valley were the big guys on the hill. Tony Izell had a really solid program at that time at Becca also. Yes. Yes, my sympathies to the Gutierrez family, and glad you told me because sometimes you miss obituaries. And like I said, so we lost two icons. A real young lady that we described, Lauren Luce, passed away at 29. What do you know what Frank's age was or not? No, that's okay. That's besides the point. So sorry about that, but like I said, Frank was a great human being, and I'll miss him. You, I saw him throughout the years at Memorial Gym, not very often, but just enough to, like every other year or something that we could talk about old times. Because as you know, wrestling once you get to the regionals and states, everybody pulls for each other, and you're on the same page. As soon as districts end, you're on the same page that you want your kids to advance, and Frank would be that way with his other teams in the valley. And of course, we rooted for Liberty after starting in regions too. So a great man. Great condolences. Liberty is so similar to Easton. They've only had I think about four or five wrestling coaches in its history, and Easton's very much like that. So both great programs, and you were involved in both of them, and we're blessed to have you in Easton right now, Jeff. Uh, yeah, and Jeff and I are getting ready, like I said, for Doylestown on the 28th, and that Saturday we'll get reports from CB South and see what the Rovers were about. Jeff, I did a little work on the Red Rovers. They have three returning football players that were starters. Two were one was all state. That's Sean McPeak. Sean McPeak, wide receiver, cornerback, had six receptions for touchdowns last year as a wide receiver, and set a record for four interceptions returned for touchdowns. And so he was first team All State, and he'll be one of the integral cogs in Matt Seneca's team this year. Judd Kossover is the other real standout returning. Judd was tight end, H-back, and linebacker last year. And as he mentioned in an article done by Kyle Craig, that he's going to have to take the mantle from Kilpatrick and try to follow in his footsteps and have an all-state year. Judd had a very solid year last year. Now his turn is to lead, and I'm sure knowing Mark, his father, who's the head freshman coach at Easton, Judd will be up to the task. Yep.
Great young man, obviously phenomenal athlete. You're not a three-time state qualifier in wrestling, and not being athletic. So, it'll be exciting to see what his future year is going to hold for football.
The third returning starter who came into his own in the second half of the year and was pretty much a shutdown corner was Jaden Foreman. So Jaden is back in the defensive secondary, which is a big help for those younger kids to have a veteran back there.
Yeah, and you're right, but he's a really kind of not playing the playoffs there, but
Couple injuries.
yeah, what happened to that guy?
Early in the year, he was a stud. His last play was a 35-yard touchdown run. No, it wasn't Will Day. It was against Erasmus Hall. He was inside the 5, and all of a sudden, Erasmus Hall tackler didn't do anything illegally, but he tripped him up, and he just landed wrong and ended the young man's season. I got my mind's drawing a blank, but.
But yeah, the back to Jaden, yeah, that's going to be great for that team. To have a player like that because it's such a pass-heavy era of high school football. You have two of the best out there with Sean and Jaden, and they're going to miss Andrew Biddle playing center field for him. But in a way, if you have somebody playing over top with a little less man responsibility, it's a little easier to replace than a true shutdown corner. So, Houston's obviously he's going to miss Biddle back there. He's so dangerous in center field. They'll be able to try to replace him better for the corners and probably anchoring that linebacker who costs over. But yeah, when we go down to Doylestown, we're going to have as many question marks as possible to see. We're going to know some of the names in there because we did get to see a lot of seconds play in the second half of games this past year because many games by Mercier rules. So we had a chance to see Dean Padine at running back or McGurn at quarterback. But how the line of scrimmage is going to, how that's going to happen because how many times, Jack, last year did we say Houston won the football game at the line of scrimmage?
Yes, they did, and there was no offensive lineman returning, and Matt Seneca described his offensive line coach, Mike Fleming, as the best offensive line coach in the Lehigh Valley. So anybody can develop an offensive line as Mike Fleming, along with his associate who has a full-time position but played at Lafayette College, and Bob Strobel. So those two young men will try to get 5 really good linemen, and they have had a pretty good off-season, I understand. So we'll see who steps up there.
And I've said it before, Jack, if there's one, and it's not a disrespect of that, if there's one position in high school football that can coach, it's the line play. A good line coach can take, an athletic kid and take them to a line. It's tough to actually make a quarterback or make a running back. Like, there's sort of athletic skill that you just have to have. Can or can't do it. But line, that is one where a coach can make a line. And when you do have two unbelievable coaches at Houston, I'm not worried at all. I said, as long and we said winning tends to breed winning in high school sports. So I can imagine the numbers and the turnout during the offseason for this team right now, given their last few seasons, winning division championships and a District 11 championship and whatnot. You're going to have young men right now that are very excited to play football, and for the line coaches, that makes it really good because you have young men that are willing to work with the coaches that absolutely know what they're doing. I'm very confident that they're going to be able to be. We're not going to see that much of a drop off.
Yeah, Mike and Bob Strobel both started. Mike at East Stroudsburg 3 years for Denny Dowds, and of course Bob playing at Lafayette for Frank Tavani, and his mentor was Bob Hefner, who went on to coach at Northwestern University. And they both started their careers under Easton's office line coach Scott Bird, who was a longtime assistant for Steve Schiffert. So getting to the quarterbacks, Jeff, we only got 5-7 minutes for you. McGurn's a front runner. Robbie McCormick is pushing him. McGurn is a junior. and Robbie McCormick is a sophomore.
Yeah, McGurn played on that really good JV team last year. Um, it's tough because for Coach Seneca, because by the time Ordway even came into last season, he was running that offense for 3 years, was so comfortable in it. So this, there's going to be a little bit of that learning curve for McGurn, because had a great junior varsity season last year running this offense. He got to see some of that varsity field this past last season, but just trying to get him up to game speed as quickly as possible. Against a pretty tough opponent, down in CB West, going to be on the road for Source to start. But we'll see there. You said Robbie McCormick's the other one, and they said hopefully. I know next Saturday, sorry Jack, I'm away. I'm in New York. Usually we like to go in and hang out and do these scrimmages, so we can see what it's going to look like on the way. Obviously we'll have to get some intel back, and practices start getting recorded next week. So I usually try to take a peek and see, what the rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get down to Cottingham this week myself later in the week. So they're the two quarterback besides Fadine. Zach, there's another really good receiver, Zach Medonis here is doing very well. And at the running back, there's three of them right now: Jeffrey Thomas Jr., Colby Oshishin, and a real familiar name to the Lehigh Easton is a young man, Justin Gaddy. I think it's Juan's nephew. So, like I said, they're the three running backs that are going to see a lot of action.
Yeah, and if I remember, I do know for sure Jeffrey Thomas is not related to who just graduated.
2 years ago, the fine running back, along with Will Day, with Mr. Thomas will call him.
Yeah, and I remember we did the freshman game that day. Jeffrey Thomas.
It wasn't Dorian Thomas, was it?
Dorian, wait, yeah, Dorian.
Okay, I came to me.
We were doing the freshman game, and Jeffrey's out there running, and I said, "Oh yeah, brother of Dorian." And all of a sudden, Tyler leans over to me and says, "Not his brother." I said, "Oh, okay." So there's no relation there. But that'll be fun, because I know last year Tyler played. I think there's 3 Jeffreys on the team last year.
Yes.
My game's sort of been going out of style for years, but to actually have a team with 3 Jeffs on it last year gave me something to look forward to.
Yes, and last but not least, before I let you go, the Rovers had 27 sacks last year, so they had such great defensive line and linebacker play. They're gonna develop that quick. Brian Falcone, and of course Sam Seneca, Matt's father, who really has an integral part. Even as a volunteer coach with the defense, will try to figure things out on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about 2 defensive ends at a starter last year, and Alex Mason and Chris Crossman. They were playing together as sophomores. So you had 3-year starters at your end, so you're gonna have to try to replace both of them as quickly as possible. And you had really good interior. Well, they rotated through several 2 or 3 down linemen. Anthony Diaz and I think Elijah Grosner was down there, or some others I'm forgetting. But yeah, you're gonna have to try to
And Kil-
replace that as quickly.
and Kilpatrick was a force when he was blitzing it from his linebacker spot. He made a lot. He was everywhere. For a first year starter, what a great job. Jeff, any closing thoughts? I really appreciate your help.
One more quick story, Matt.
Okay.
I don't know all the details, but this will not surprise you when I tell you the story. But I know a very proud moment for a dad last night. Palmer Days are going on right now down there in Palmer Township. The wrestling has a week this year. Our young fans can win if they volunteer.
Selling donuts, I understand.
Yes, they're selling donuts this year for Adam Colombo and Anderson. But anyway, near the end of the evening last night, one of the guests had a medical emergency and collapsed.
I saw that. Yes,
And
Nick Salomon.
Nick Salamone jumped out from behind the tent, ran over, assessed the situation immediately, and began CPR. But even before medical personnel got there, continued once the EMT and everybody else began there, they continued his CPR.
Nick.
All of us, well, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, and Nick probably went right back to talking with his friends, like,
Nothing happened. Yeah. So we can say Nick Salmos is state champion on the mat and off the mat. We'll give him that. Yes. Yeah. That's Nick. No, that's not. That's a really feel good story. So I'm glad that the adult is safe and he's hopefully this morning he woke up as a normal person. And Nick, good job. And Nick will be going down to Virginia very shortly to finish his career as a wrestler, as a Cavalier. So. You you and I are good this morning. We keep on forgetting it. It's a gorgeous, yes, it is. So leave it at that. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk. We'll talk during the week. Of course, you're going to be gone the first half of the week. We'll be back home Thursday. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Have a great week. Thanks, Jeff, for all your help this morning. Bye bye. Jeff Achenzi, my partner in crime on JAJL Sports, and we'll give Corky Blake a call and talk some other sports with Corky. Okay. Yes, a lot of things happening early on, as we have mentioned with Jeff. Good morning, Corky. How are you? Doing very well. And like I said, just got talking with my partner in crime, Jeff Achenzi. We talked about two recent. We don't usually talk about people passing away, but I posted last night. Of course, it was in the paper about Kyle Craig did a fine article on the Lauren Luce passing away at 29 years young. And I followed up a little bit on Facebook last night because I was part of Lauren's life for 8 years, 4 years at the elementary school level and 4 years at Eastern Area High School. She was such a great lady, and I talked a little bit about her, Lauren's first and goal, and she'll be missed. She was such a great person. I don't know if you ever got to meet her or not. Yes, she did, and like I said, I was very fortunate to be a part of it off and on. Like I said, I had her, like I said, K through 4, and then I stayed in touch because John was the defense coordinator at Lafayette, so I stayed in touch with the family and worked the camp, and then she came back, as I said, at Eastern Area High School, and I was at the high school at that time, and so I got to see her last 4 big years at Easton, and what my goal my freshman year, I said, was to see her graduate, and she did. And she did a lot of things after she graduated. So once again, people tuning in late, we lost Lauren Luce, but we'll never forget her. She was a great young lady, and John, her father, who's presently the assistant head coach at West Point, Marianne, her mother, and Gracie, her younger sibling, were just a great family to be around. And Lauren's first and goal, when it was live before the pandemic, it was a great day at Metzger Field, Corky. Yeah, it was. In Ohio. Yeah, Urban Meyer was there when in his heyday, and like I said, John Harbaugh, Jim's brother, James Franklin. It was a who's who's list, and I used to enjoy it because when I was at the front desk for part of my security duties was, I had a lot of, in the old days, which was the good days of college football. There were so many recruiters coming in, and you got to know them. Like I got to meet Lou Ferrante, the present head coach at Villanova. Mark Ferrante. I'm sorry. I'm glad you corrected me, Mark. Yeah, and I got to know Mark real well, and former Lafayette assistants. I remember when Shane Simpson was getting recruited. Eventually into Townsend, but they were all after him. Yes, yes, that's great. That's great. Resume. Yeah. Yes. Yes, and Villanova, of course, is in the Patriot League this year. So Mark's team is the preseason favorite, and Lehigh University Mountain Hawks are picked second by most people. So it's going to be an interesting football year. Lafayette's picked fourth or fifth in the league, and hopefully we'll see some exciting football at Fisher Stadium and Goodman Stadium this fall. Yeah. And I didn't know this till Jeff was on with me this past hour that wrestling coaching legend passed away also, Frank Gutierrez. I don't know if you're aware of that. No, I didn't know that either. Late 80s, early 90s. If I've known Frank forever and ever. He goes way back to the 60s when they had a coaching tree. Mount Rushmore was Bob Zarbatini at Easton, Frank Gutierrez at Liberty, of course, Charlie Bartlett Jr., Thad Turner at Charlie Bartlett Jr. at Sauk Valley, Thad Turner at Phillipsburg, and of course at Bethlehem Catholic, Tony Izello. So so many names back in the season 70s that made the sport so popular in the Lehigh Valley as it is today. Liberty. He was a good character. Yeah, that's why I said to Jeff. Yeah, I said he was a character, but a good character. I said, and nickname was Guts. so Frank was a good man, and sorry to see him leave us, but he lived a long, fruitful life, as far as I know. So, yep, and preseason football will start Monday. Actually, at the heat hydration period this week, so everybody will get down to business. Next Saturday will be a scrimmage for all the local teams, and 13 days from now, most teams will be opening on that Friday night, August 28th. It's come quickly, hasn't it? Plotting the strategy. Yeah, your duties will be all over the place, I imagine. The East Penn Conference and the Colonial League. Am I- Yeah, I talked to Brad about 3 weeks ago. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, and he's hoping to get to most of the home games at Maloney Field or Howard Bellis Field because it's such an easy landing spot for him with the way the parking is. He can get out with his equipment, and get wheeled right into the press box because that's where the press box is. Yeah, because we missed him badly last year. Like I said, football and wrestling. Brad's such a dedicated writer and person. So we'll, yeah, and football, like I said, what I've heard is Parkland is the preseason favorite. Freedom might be up there too, and it's going to be interesting year in the East Penn Conference. Saw Coach Matt Seneca last week, and he said in Kyle Craig's article, and he said to me, he said, we still have the same goals. Will we meet them? We don't know, but we're not saying, hey, he's not suggesting, something different, lower. So expectations are high. They had a good off season. A lot of kids were in the weight room, and there are a lot of young kids. But as Kyle also mentioned in his article, that Coach Seneca, over his years as a football coach at Whitehall and other stops, is not afraid to use underclassmen. And that offense, that quickness. Yes, yeah, Marlin had a good career for Bob Schreiber, but they used the veer, and it was a lot of handoffs to Jeff Staten at the time. So Marlin had a nice career at Easton. So we'll see what goes on there. Right now, football, like I said, is very close by, but we can still talk some baseball with you right now, and we'll talk a little football maybe near the end again. The National League is turning into a 7-team race for 6 playoff berths, and there's some teams even below the Phillies and Diamondbacks and Padres who are really hot right now. There's teams like the Pirates are staying in it, and other teams in Miami. I think the reason everybody has good records in the National League is because if you look at the interleague scores, most times the National League's beating up on the American League this year. dominated.
There wasn't as many games, obviously, had to have the rivalry, the rivalry from offside.
Yeah.
We play each other and stuff, but yeah, you're right. I was looking at wild card, and it looks, you just look at the standings. Tampa Bay is pretty locked in there, or actually the Nationals. That's what I'm looking at. It looks like the three division leaders are almost decided already. Braves, Dodgers, and then I think you just gotta like the Brewers. I mean, even if it's just 3 games above the Cubs, they just been more consistent over time. So
The Cu-
contention. But then you said you look at the wild card. Right now, it's Phillies on the outside looking in. I think Luzardo pitches tonight, so that's what you got 10. And then you got Maynard pitching okay. I think what's hurt them is Wheeler and Sanchez.
Sanchez had a good outing, but the Phillies. Yeah, he pulled them after 6 innings, and I've grown to. It's not nice to say dislike our manager, Don Mattingly. My mother, who's a young 98 years old and watches every game with me, she said about 2 months ago she wasn't thrilled the way he handled the bullpen. And her words have come true. Sorry to say. Dynasties. Sanchez? Oh, Zach Wheeler. Okay. And that's your ace? That's your ace? No. Batting order? The Giants. I don't know. Like I said, they went 7-3 in 10 games before they lost 2 games to the Cardinals. But I look back at those 10 games, they could have been 10-0, honestly, because every game I had a question mark. Last Sunday blew my mind. Was they were begging though after 3 straight hits off Orion Kirkring in the 8th. They were begging and they had a left-hand hitter coming up. And they begged for a left-hander, and Rayleigh was warming up, and so after a little lull in the action, JT called timeout, went out and talked to the Kirkring, and you could see at the corner of his eye he was waiting for Mattingly to come out to replace him, and Mattingly never appeared from the dugout, and then Kirkland gave up a 2-run single, tied the game, and then blew the whole bullpen. They went 12 innings and won, but it blew the whole bullpen for the week. And then you just wonder, what he is thinking. Like I said, I like Dusty Wathan. I don't know if Dusty's his dugout assistant. I like Caleb Cotman, so I'm not sure what those two other individuals have to say. What's happening with how he handles things, but like I said, I'm not a fan, and I really, if I was a betting man right now, I say the Phillies will not make the playoffs. The, yes, that's hard to believe. They're, I yeah, I think the Phillies are like 23-12 in one-run games somehow or other. So they've been lucky to pull some of those games out. But even with the uh, the first win of the series, like I said, he said he was going to go to Garrett Stubbs in the 10th inning. On Monday night, the pitch if it ended, it would have been a tie game. I hate to tell him, but there's major league rules that you're not allowed to use a position player unless you have a deficit of 8 runs. That's for. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you corrected me. By it. It's new slate. Yeah, new slate. Yeah, not because the Phillies won on Thursday night, but I thought the Field of Dreams game was really a fun time. Just the way it. Yeah, I thought so. With the whole. Yes, Aaron Noel has stats. The first part you'll believe. The second part a lot of fans wouldn't know about. He's third in the major leagues giving up the home run ball. I think we all knew that. He'd be in the top 3 there somewheres. But he's number 7 in Major League Baseball in strikeouts. Yeah, when that knuckle curve is working, it's a great pitch if he can set it up. And there night, Aaron must have been in heaven. They talk about baseball heaven at the Field of Dreams game. That there was no ABS. Quirky, speaking of the ABS, the fine shortstop in the Yankees farm system, he's played in the majors, Volpe from Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Did you hear what happened on Wednesday night with him? I'm doing the official scoring. First, start the game, and we all hope as workers, we enjoy working, but we don't enjoy being there for 3+ hours. And the Iron Pig starting pitcher throws ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, nothing close, right? So he throws strike 1, right? Yeah, so he throws strike 1, right? And it was questionable, but it was a strike as it proved out. Volpe on a 3-0 pitch challenges a 3-0 pitch, opening batter of the game. Strike 1, okay. He takes strike 2 and glares back at the umpire, okay. Then he takes strike 3 and glares back at him again. He challenges again. He was wrong for the second time. So in 6 pitches, the Rail Riders lost their challenges for the rest of the evening. Hit. Productive hit. Yeah. Yeah, but getting back to the Phillies real quick, and I didn't even understand the Field of Dreams game because it was 5-1 at the time before Marsh hit a late home run. That, he lined up his pitchers, and before the home run, he still had Kirkring in the top of the eighth instead of using Bowden as his eighth inning man. And your new pitcher we acquired from you as a seventh inning man, and backtrack Kirkring and Alvarado who have been very inconsistent. I just don't understand the way he handles that bullpen. So we'll get off that subject. What else would you like to touch on for 5 minutes?
Try and get everybody to September, late September. He was playing a long game. Mathematically,
I think the big difference is, we do have a closer. Rob had him for the last 2 months last year, and I thought he handled the bullpen decently. With a closer, it's a whole different thing. Rob, in his first 3.5 years as manager of the Phillies, would always say, I'm going by who's hitting in the top of the eighth and top of the ninth, and that's how I'm going to use my pitching. The hot spots, like, Rayleigh would be, one night, if he had him at that time, would pitch the seventh because there's 3 lefties coming up, but, 2 days later, there could be 3 lefties coming up in the eighth inning. So I understood what Rob was trying to do, because there was no closer at the time designated. They used everybody and anybody to close games. So just like I said, Phillies are at 39 games to go. San Diego and Arizona are playing their best baseball of the year, and yeah. To Robbie Ray and Casey Mize. Yeah, really good acquisitions. And Mason Miller, of course. Yes. That day. Yeah. Any last comments from you? Kicks in. Yeah. I'm so old, we had no heat hydration, and the magical date on the calendar was August 18th, no matter what day it fell. Yeah, I'm a lot older than you. I'm not. You're a lot more mature and younger, but I'm older and immature. So, like I said, but I remember those days. So, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go talk to Mark Wogenrich now. Want to put us on YouTube Radio? You'll learn all about Penn State football. Okay, good talking to you, and thanks again. We'll talk soon. Bye bye. Corky Blake, and then we're gonna give Mark Wogenrich a call and see how he's doing and talk a little Penn State football with Mark. Media Day was just recently, and talk about the big happening in the Lehigh Valley with one of the Penn State football players, with Mark. And hello, Mark. How are you? Good. It's a beautiful sunny day in the Lehigh Valley. Not many of them. Well, we're supposed to have half a day tomorrow, and then we're supposed to have a lot of rain for about 16, 18 hours after that. So enjoy your Saturday, or if you need to do something, enjoy your Sunday morning, because they say around noon, 1 o'clock, we're going to get hit with some stuff in the sky. So adventurous week at State College. A lot of good things are happening out there, it seems like right now. And of course, we'll start on the number one topic for Lehigh Valley sports fans, because they're so used to Peyton Falzone being the best quarterback in Lehigh Valley for the last 3 years. Cole Wardway challenged him after he got hurt last year, and Cole Wardway, of course, walked away with all the honors in the Lehigh Valley after leading Easton to a 14-1 season. But before that, all the talk was Nazareth with Peyton Falzone before he had his season-ending injury.
You can't hear your visitor. You can't hear your guest. You can't hear your guest.
Oh, Jesus.
Turn it up.
Call Jeff, I'll find out. Denny. Okay. Mark, Denny Rush is with us. Denny can ask you a couple of questions. We were talking about Peyton Falzone and his switch to tight end, Denny.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Real good, thank you. Yeah, it didn't surprise me this week that they made a change. I think there was 5 quarterbacks, wasn't there?
Hey Jeff, Denny said I can't hear our guest calling in, so he did, but everything was working very well. You can counsel me.
Yeah. Who'd you say the backup was? Was it Connor Berry? Oh, the freshman. Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell you, I'm really excited about the team this year. This is the first year, outside of the Franklin era here, and as a lifelong Penn State fan, it's sort of it's like Groundhog Day with Franklin every year. They play well early, and then the big games they lose, and then usually after they lose a big game, they go out and lose to another lesser team. That's why Franklin. That's what happened last year with UCLA, and then even Northwestern, which was absolutely ridiculous. And I think at that point they finally pulled the plug on them, and I'm glad they did. As a Penn State fan, I think it's time for a change. It's probably a change for Franklin too. It's good to get a fresh start. He'll do well in the ACC. What the heck? Your top teams are Duke and I guess Miami would be the other team. Miami's super. I mean, they really are. Hey, I just picked up the Blue and White Illustrated yesterday, and this thing is chock full of. And the only place we could find it, and my wife found it for me yesterday, Pat, was over at Barnes and Noble. So anyway, that's another story. But I was reading it last night, and it's just chock full of stuff here. And but I'm looking forward to this year. I think Peyton is like you said, he's a good athlete, and cause he's really, what is he, he's 6'5", 216 it says here. So really, wow. Correct.
Work to do, and physically as well. So, but I mean, he's healthy now, and he's 6'5". I think he's pushing. What they said, he's pushing in that 215 to 220 range.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's got room to grow. If you've seen him, I mean,
Yeah.
You can still put more really good weight on his frame.
Yeah, he's only about 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So anyway,
And he runs a 4.5. There's a lot. There's a lot to work with there.
yeah. What about the rest of the team? I missed the first 5 minutes of the show. I was on my way down here, but the running back, this Carson Hansen, he's supposed to be the real deal, huh?
They have an interesting running backs room, I think, because there's really three guys, and if you add Cam Wallace, who's a returning running back, who was really kind of starting to throw in training camp, there could be four players who are going to compete for carries. It's not going to be like last year when you were going to be divvying out carries almost in half between two running backs like Penn State did last year with Katron Allen, Nick Singleton. You're just not going to see that. They don't have. I don't think they have the framing or something like that. Mike Campbell's not built that way. Carson Hansen was a starter last year. I think you're going to see him
in that starting role, but he's gonna have to work to. I think he's gonna have to work to hold it. My guy that the guy that I'm really watching is Quentin Martin, the returning back from Penn State last year. You saw him in the bowl game. He didn't run the ball at all last year because of Singleton and Allen, and comes out in the bowl game and goes like 20 carries for 100 yards right away against Clemson in it's really cold conditions at Yankee Stadium. They're really high on him because he's finally figured out a way to actually gain and retain weight. He's up to it like about 215 when he was playing last year in that 200-pound range. He's a really good three-down back and do a lot of things. I like him. I think he's got the potential to maybe kind of steal some more carries as the season goes on and maybe even become the number one. And then there's James Peoples, the Ohio State transfer, who is just a legit, looking fiercely fit running back. And I look for him maybe in some pass game roles, catching the ball out of the backfield. And he's got an explosiveness, so they're gonna rotate. I think those guys through. So I don't know that you're gonna have like a real super lead rusher. They're gonna have instances of like they're gonna use in specific situations. But again, it won't be like last year when it's gonna be like K-Tron for a series, Nick for a series, K-Tron for a series, Nick for a series. I don't think you're gonna see that.
Yeah, now wide receiver, there's two more Iowa State transfers that came in, Chase Soul and Brett Eskildon. Yeah, Eskildon.
Yeah. There's actually 4 transfers from Iowa State. I would throw Zay Robinson in there as well, the guy that you're going to want to look at. Brett Eskildon, to me, is the most intriguing of the group because I don't know if you follow that.
Hey, Jeff, I'm calling
The
my
college
mom.
football freak list, a reporter at The Athletic, and he's worked at a bunch of different places. And he came up with about 20 years ago, came up with this idea to like find the best athletes in college football, and he called it the freak list. Saquon Barkley was his number 1 back in 2017, like the most athletic freak in college football. Brett Eskildon, Iowa State transfer, I think he caught 30 passes for the Cyclones last year, is the first Penn State receiver ever to make that list. I think he came in at like number 35 or something like that. And he did so because he is fast. They don't 40 test. McCampbell's not really a 40 test guy. He likes, they wear those like wearable measuring systems that measure your speed, like the whoop halters, stuff like that. And I just last week I was asking their receivers coach Kashif more about him, and said Eskildon's getting up near 24 miles an hour. He's run 23 and a half, like top speed. I think he is the guy that really is going to be fun to watch this year. He's going to be that big play guy that they're going to try to get to. The one thing that I think is going to be different about this offense that we saw last year is they're going to go over the top on it. This is a run game first. I think you're going to see early, like I said, you're going to see those backs, and Carson Hansen is going to be the guy you're going to see a lot of running the game. They're going to try to pound, but they're going to use their receivers deep. This is not going to be a lot of check down to receivers kind of offense and short stuff. I think they're going to be throwing over the top. Chase Sowell is a guy who can get deep. Dave Robinson's a guy who can get deep. Kobe Howard, the returning running back or returning receiver from last year, he averaged 19 yards a catch, even though he had just 7 catches.
It's okay now.
Last season, he's a guy that can stretch the field. They're going to use their receivers.
Mark, you're getting me excited here. Can't hear now.
What's going on?
Yeah, that's going to be a Friday night game. The good thing for Easton fans, Easton plays Thursday night that week against Pocono Mountain
East.
And so the Easton fans won't have to have a conflict here. Yeah, I'm anxious to see what happens there. And if they get by that game, they should win the other games. I guess is Wisconsin's at home, and before that, and then the other first three are the weak sisters, as we talked about. So it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to just some fresh air with Penn State, and excited for the year. I guess Southern Cal right now, after they get by Northwestern, will be 5-0 if they do this. And then Southern Cal at home, I believe that's going to be a whiteout, correct?
They haven't announced it officially, but all sides point to that being the whiteout.
Yeah.
That's what Penn State is pushing to be the whiteout.
Good. That'll be fun. And then I know Southern Cal's under a lot of heat. The coach there is really under a lot of pressure. They should have a big year. He's really on a short leash here right now. If he doesn't do it now, he lost his defensive coordinator. He went to Penn State. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Danton Lynn,
Uh-huh.
Penn State quarterback who I would say Franklin tried to hire last year before he hired Jim Knowles. Matt Campbell got him, and Danton Lynn. And that's another thing we're going to see. Danton Lynn defense is a bit different for Matt Campbell, if not for Penn State. Matt Campbell is a 3-3-5 guy at Iowa State. Danton Lynn is a 4-2-5 guy primarily. I think that's going to be what their base looks going to be. Big defensive tackles. This is the thing you're going to notice. Remember a guy like Dane Durant last year playing defensive tackle at 280. They were trying to use that leverage and explosiveness model. Well, their defensive tackles are all like 220 now. They're big guys. They're beasts. They occupy space. They occupy linemen, and then the linebackers and safeties behind them make a bunch of tackles. You're seeing, or you should see a guy like Tony Rojas returning, averaging, like 8-9 tackles a game if everything is going properly. He should be a real cleanup guy in that position.
Yeah, that should be very interesting this year. It's really a time of change at Penn State, and it should be a lot of fun this year just to see a different perspective. I understand what I've heard about Campbell, the coach, is I saw him the other day on the Big Ten Network, and he's more of a people person type guy. He's really engaging, and Franklin was as my friend at work used to say, is a snake oil. Can you hear him now, Jack? Is like a snake oil salesman. So that's what he called him. God rest his soul. He did pass away, but I'm talking about my friend. But he used to call him a snake oil salesman, and it really was. He wasn't sincere at all. He was, and it was mostly about himself. Where Campbell seems like a guy who's really engaging and cares about the kids. I'm not saying Franklin didn't care about him, but first priority for Franklin was himself. Is look at me, and that's the kind of thing. Well, I'm glad that's gone now. But getting back to the positive side here, I think it'll be uplifting. Now, what about the stadium? I guess the west side, is it done? I know they built the upper deck. What's the status of that, Mark?
I was actually just there, got a tour of that west side Thursday, and I mean, those bleachers, they are up there. They said you have a pretty spectacular view if you're in that upper deck on the west side. They're going to be open at some point. I think they're going to, part of it's going to be open for the first two games anyway. They play at Temple on September 12th.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the USC game, that fully open.
But they don't.
It's a huge deck. The seats are actually, they're higher. The top of that, top of the station now is like 2 feet off the ground. If you're on that top level, you are actually eye level with the Nittany Lions weather vane at the top of the stadium. You are.
So it's higher than the east side?
Oh yeah, higher than the east side. Substantially higher than the east side. But that's still not as high as what this thing. I mean,
Oh, good.
And then the tower, a lot of the infrastructure on that, I mean, the construction on that is pretty much done. With that now, there's interior spaces, so that won't be open. The club levels, all of that will not be open this year. That'll be ready for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. The project manager, the way he explained it is they're basically rebuilding the stadium time. So last year, that's knocked down the upper seating deck and the century. And then so before this year, they built a new upper deck and then built the west tower structure. So what's going to happen after this season is they're going to demolish the lower bowl on the west side, all that feature seating down there, and replace that with chairback.
Oh,
That, and while they are also finishing the look premium access suites and lobbies and stuff like that in the tower, and they're also building a welcome center in there too. So everything is supposed to be ready for 27. But the tower looks pretty impressive. We kind of you see that like studded out room, studded out suite, the concession spaces, things like that. There's new technology going in. I think that's going to that really I think is going to help at least the stadium. Fans to see and their experience there. The concourses are much wider. There's a lot more breathing room to walk, which I think is another good thing. And they're adding escalators, so that's nice. A couple new things for this year are there's a new scoreboard on the north end zone, and then they added they replaced the sound system on the south end of the scoreboard. And they were testing that when we were there, and the sound was actually really good. So it's their budget for the Freedom Stadium is $700 million. I will be surprised if they come in under that budget. But you need money, and I think this is a really important season for Penn State football and for Matt Campbell because they're still selling the premium spaces. They're still selling club seats. They're still, I think the suites are sold, or at least almost fully sold, but they're still selling a lot of those club seats, loge boxes, things like that. If this is not a successful season, some of that might cool, and that's a lot of money that they're spending. They're going to face finance. I don't think they want to pay for that stadium for 30 years. They want to start paying it off with the premium sale starting in 27. So this is an important year financially for the athletic department. That's a big plus.
Mark, have you had any interviews with Rocco Beck personally, one-on-one?
I have not done a one-on-one with him, but I've had him in like small groups. I got to chat with him in Chicago, and I really like him. It's really interesting. It's funny when you go up there for practice, or you go up there for you walk through the player parking lot, and a bunch of there's a bunch of license plates from Iowa, from Texas, from Nebraska. It's very new. That's still kind of jarring. And so many of these Iowa State players who came to Penn State have a really refreshing attitude about it. Penn State's very new to them. They didn't necessarily, a lot of them didn't necessarily grow up with Penn State as you kind of, as you've heard from other players historically. Even the James Franklin era, recruiting regionally, New Jersey, Delaware, obviously Pennsylvania, they're going up to Connecticut, New York. It's still a Penn State regional-centric recruiting base, and kids follow Penn State. Where it's all new to them. And I think they've really, at least from what they're saying, that they've taken to some of that history. And they have a real sense of it. Matt Campbell brought in, during spring drills, he brought 450 Lettermen back over the course of like 4 weeks to visit with them. And so Rocco Beck was talking about having a chance to have conversations with Todd Blackledge and Terry Collins. And, he worked with Trace McSorley a little bit. Trace McSorley was on the coaching staff before he went to Buffalo. He talked with Christian Hackenberg. Christian Hackenberg made a real impression on him because he didn't really know the story of like Christian Hackenberg committing to Penn State and to Bill O'Brien when the sanctions occurred. So he has a
gives us really interesting perspective on Penn State that you don't normally get from other players. And then on top of that, he's a fifth-year senior who played absolute tons of college football. So he's, he is really polished, but yet kind of has a very down-to-earth quality. You're going to see a lot of, I think you're going to see a lot, hear a lot of comparisons between him and Brock Purdy, the 49ers quarterback, who he has a really good relationship with, because Brock Purdy was at Iowa State with Matt Campbell, and they make a lot of comparisons.
Wow.
Purdy about how the kind of players they are, their body type, and their approach to the game. Yeah, I think you're going to see that. It's going to be, we go back a couple of years, and everybody was comparing Bo Prabula to Tracy McSorley. I think if you're watching TV, you're going to hear Rocco Beck to Brock Purdy comparisons right off.
That's Bill. I'll take that. I mean, Brock is a very successful quarterback at the 49ers, and I will take that. But it's really, I'm really cautiously optimistic here, and I don't expect an undefeated season, but I just want to see them play really good football and be very competitive, and it should be exciting for Penn State fans. I know that. I mean, you couldn't, nothing like overhauling the whole team and everything. And when I eventually looked into everything, and when I saw 24 transfers from Iowa State, and especially mostly at the key positions, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, and I believe tight end too. So it's pretty neat, and I don't know how it helped her. Now I guess a lot of the recruits that Penn State originally was going to have went with Franklin. Is that true?
I think there was about 11 in that class. What you expect?
Yeah, because he recruited them. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there was, there was actually one player, Jackson Ford, defensive end from New Jersey, who committed to Penn State and did not decommit through the entire, after Franklin was fired. He's the only player from that 26 recruiting class who committed and signed the class.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Peyton Calzone committed, I think, 24 to Penn State, and then decommitted, went to Auburn, and came back.
Correct.
So yeah, most of that class went somewhere else. A lot of them went to James Franklin, Virginia Tech. But the same thing goes for Penn State's 26 recruiting class. They run into 10 of them actually signed with Iowa State last December. Not even just committed; they signed on signing day with Iowa State. Matt Campbell got the job. They were released. Iowa State released them from their contracts, and 10 of those guys came to Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. It works that way too.
Yeah, that's pretty neat how that all works that way, and today. So, but we're excited. The first game is it 3:30 with Marshall?
Yeah, first game 3:30 Marshall, and then I think they have a couple of noon games.
Mm-hmm.
Noon at Temple.
Temple, right?
Which is going to be interesting because the former Penn State quarterback Jackson Foley is probably going to start for Temple, and for Casey Keeler. We're looking forward to seeing what Casey Keeler does at Temple. The Emmaus guy, and I got to cover some of his stuff when he was at Delaware. He's a coach.
He's a really good coach.
And I look at that game and I think, no, do not underestimate.
No, absolutely not. You can't underestimate it. Yeah. Now this is his second year there? Yeah.
Again, he doesn't have, he's going to swim upstream with talent. It's just not impossible to get good talent to go to Temple. You're beyond the days of when Al Golden and Matt Rule could do it before NIL.
Mm-hmm. Now what league are they Temple in?
What, the American? I'm pretty sure it's the American.
Yes.
AAC,
Yes.
Is that with Memphis in that one? I lost track. Everybody moved around so much,
Mark, unrelated to Penn State, can I ask you one last question? During the years of Lawrence first and goal in the Easton at Lafayette College, did you cover it at all?
I just posted something on Twitter yesterday at John Lewis
Right.
and his family.
Yes.
I was at that camp, I think 4 or 5 times.
Right.
But I
see it. She really caught these kids' attention, and they listened, and they got something from it. And it was great. You know, the number of high school coaches, not high school, college coaches who came, volunteered their time. That camp was phenomenal. I mean, James Franklin was there. Remember, Chris Ash was there from Rutgers. Jim Harbaugh was there. So many coaches came through, and every single one of them said, Lauren, called Lauren an inspiration. John and Marianne were the most wonderful people that I've come across in football, so selfless. And that was just, she was such a light. And I know she graduated from Easton, I think, 2015.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just an absolutely wonderful person.
Yeah, I was fortunate to have her 9 years when I was working K through 4 at Tracy Elementary School, and then she came back in 2011 to start her high school career, and she was just, like I said, a beacon of light. Didn't matter if she went to CHOP the day before. Next day, she come in with a smile. And I would talk to Mary Ann while she was waiting for her. She said, we had a horrible day, but you never know it, the way she was.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember just a couple of side conversations with Marianne, and Lauren always had big goals that she wanted to achieve, and Marianne would say, yeah, it was a tough day yesterday, but she's not letting it get in the way. I think it's the last time I spoke with her, she was about to go to, I think it's like a culinary school.
Yes.
Or start culinary classes, and she was having health issues with corn at that time, but Marianne said, it's not stopping her. Nothing stopped her, and I saw that. And she was, I'm so floored by her. I would use the word grace as well, and I believe their other daughter is named Grace.
Yes, Gracie, yes.
Yeah, and she just, I know that they were best friends. Her older sister was her best friend, but she had, there was just such a compelling power about Lauren, just in her smile, and I was always so struck by that how she could convey just the idea of perseverance without even saying it. She was phenomenal.
Yes, she was. Thank you for coming on, and we'll do this one more time before opening kickoff, okay?
Yeah, Bird, take care of yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, Mark. Okay. Give Bruce Nagy a call and talk to Bruce the last half hour. And for our listeners out there, if there are some technical difficulties, I don't know why Jeff and I checked it early. It was working early on, and then Denny said it's been off and on. So you'll hear Denny in my voice, and we'll get great answers from Bruce Nagy to close out the show. Okay, then we'll give Bruce a call.
Yeah, it's good. So I'm looking forward to the Penn State season, like we just talked about. Now, I guess the Eagles have their first preseason game tonight. Is there any word who's going to be starting?
Andy Dalton's rumored.
Good. I think Andy will be your backup quarterback, and I'm very comfortable with him because he's very experienced. Tanner McKee is. He was really good the first couple of years as a backup, but last year he just didn't do well at all. I think that's going to cost him his job this year. So, and they're going to keep the freshman,
Peyton.
or first year player, Peyton, left-hander who is very, very athletic. Reminds you a little bit of Johnny Manziel and so forth and so on. I mean, he's just excellent.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, and a lot of sports on TV tonight. Denny, just talking a little baseball real quick. The Field of Dreams game was fantastic. It was good for baseball. I wish the players and owners would look at it and say, "Hey, this is what the game's about, not all this money."
Why didn't they play there the last few years?
I don't know.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I got Denny with me.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Denny. Yeah, when you called before, I heard that Denny was talking about the backup quarterback situation, which has always been intriguing in Philadelphia. The one thing you talked about Tanner McKee, I know the last game he played against Washington, which I think was the only game he played in or started in.
Right.
Yeah, he had a rough game, but the one thing that I remember about that game was he threw a beautiful pass to Darius Cooper,
down on the 5-yard line, and the Eagles would have been first and goal and could have taken the lead in the game. And Cooper, who I think has a lot of talent, did one of those stupid things by put the ball or spun the ball in the player's face or got into the defender's face, and the Eagles got a personal foul and went back to a first and goal on the 20.
Yeah.
So this is a thought on his performance, but yeah, I like Kenny. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to evaluate that they don't play much,
Yeah.
and that goes for everyone.
But you know what you get from Andy Dalton. I mean, he's very consistent and very, very, very experienced. And I think, God forbid, if Hurts does get hurt, Andy Dalton coming. You're not. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to lose anything, but you got a really experienced veteran quarterback, which a team like the Eagles, I really do believe they're going to have a nice team, especially defensively. Offense, we don't know yet because of the new coordinator, but it should be very, very exciting. Hey, Bruce, I saw yesterday on the internet that, and you don't know what you see on the internet. There were some changes in college football. One is no more talking about spinning the ball, right? No more getting in the face, or no like how when a person, a running back, receiver, or whatever, gets a first down, he goes in and does the first down signal and all that. That's going to be a personal foul. Did you hear that? Yeah, I'm assuming this is correct. I mean, sometime on the internet, I don't know why they would put that on if it wasn't true. But you're not going to be able to do anything. No more demonstrations. No more taking a dagger, putting it in your side like a saber. Like a lot of times the defensive backs do that. They're really going to try to clean this thing up, which I couldn't. It's not about me. That's the whole point. And I think with college football is saying, hey guys, it's not about me anymore. And so that should be interesting what happens there. Because these kids, they just mimic the NFL players. And you can't do that. You just can't. So I'm glad they're doing it, because I never liked that. There's no self-grandizing here going on in football. It's not part of the game. It shouldn't be part of the game. So.
Hey, backing up, guys, about Andy Dalton, okay? I think it'd be the first time that Jalen Hurts will have a real good, if he is the backup, a sounding board coming to the sidelines. I don't think Andy Dalton's on the upswing, but Andy Dalton could be a calming force, That's why I think he is a leader in the clubhouse.
Because of experience, yes, yeah. He started for Cincinnati how many years? And then he bounced around as a backup the last few years. So.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I guess he left when Burrows came in.
Yeah, so any other college football changes? Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, nothing really significant.
They do away with the fair catch on kickoffs.
No, I don't know what they did there.
I hate that rule.
No, I don't know what they did there. What the NFL? Did the NFL make a change on kickoffs?
Well, they've been kicking off from the 45-yard line. There've been all kinds of returns.
Yeah, that's been great.
It's been great, and college football is the most boring kickoff I ever saw. Kicker can do a great job and place it between 5 and 15, and all the opponent has to do is raise his hand for a fair catch and back out to the 25.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So.
Over number 3 and number 5 at LSU, which I just heard all that, and I don't really have. I've heard all the opinions and all this stuff like that. But when you have players, you're egomaniacs fighting over. Well, I wore number 5 all my life, and I only came to LSU because they told me I was going to wear number 5. And James Daniels said, well, they told me that they would honor me by not having anybody wear number 5, and Joe Burrow, nobody wears number 9, and I'm like,
Give me a break.
the mindset, what the heck is going on here? Play the game, okay? I realize you're all mercenaries, all there for 1 year. If you don't get what you want, then you're on I'm glad when the game starts, that's what I'm looking forward to. The offensive is garbage in college sports.
Yeah, well, 2 weeks from today, I guess, the game in Ireland, it's in Ireland, I believe, with UN, TCU, that should be good.
What a disaster North Carolina is. They brought in Bill Belichick, you know,
And his girlfriend,
yeah, and that's part of it, you know, and that's what it is.
What happened with the,
We better start winning football games. And the thing is, you know, Mike Lombardi goes in there as his general manager, and now is on a leave of absence because of sexual harassment. You know, stuff like that. And now his, you know, his son, who is his defensive coordinator, has stepped away because of a health issue. I hope he's okay. But if I'm a North Carolina football fan, I'm like, what did we do here?
yeah.
You know, we got rid of Mac Brown. Who, you know, okay, Mac Brown was in his 70s or late 60s. And, you know, they didn't have much of a defense, but, you know, they made Bolden character and they were exciting to watch. And now you brought in Bill Belichick, who, you know, has really done a horrible job. And everybody wonders, I think Calvin said this the other day, how much is he really interested in the job? You know?
Bruce, will preempt him from getting another NFL job to just try to break the record?
He's not getting enough.
No.
His problem is, you know, he could have, now I'm not saying that he's not a great coach and all that stuff, but, you know, the owner of the Falcons, Arthur Blank, wanted to hire him, I think wanted to hire him 2 years ago, and the management, the general manager and front office went to Arthur Blank and said, you got to understand something. You don't bring Bill Belichick in here as just a coach. He wants all the power over personnel, you know. And in New England, he was not a good general manager. Just like Bill Parcells was a great football coach, was not a good general manager.
And Andy Reid too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look how he screwed up the Eagles by saying he didn't particularly care for, you know, Shady, and he didn't particularly care for Deshaun. What kind of stupid, and then you trade Nick Foles for Sam Bradford?
And a second round pick.
Yeah, it's a kind of thing where, you know, it's you just. Well, Bill Belichick says at this stage of my career, he said this a couple of years ago, I want people around me that I enjoy, not who's best for the team, people that he enjoys and he can control. But yeah, I think he's on a very, very short leash this year, and I think you'll see him let go by the end of the year here. So should be interesting. But back on a positive note, what do you expect to see from the Eagles tonight?
Well, you know, I think there's a lot of things to look at in the sense of, I think there's going to be a group of wide receivers, and the Eagles have a lot of them, and with Devontae Smith out for sure, and maybe he would not play anyway. We're going to get a chance to take a look at some of the people that they picked up in the offseason as wide receivers. Also, I think looking at the defensive backfield, you have a lot of backup type players or jumper players right now, more like backup corners or you know, situational corners, situational safeties, and things like that. So I think the receivers and the defensive backfield are those players have a lot on the line tonight and for the preseason.
Yes, Bruce. It's going to be interesting. The defense should be outstanding, I think. They only have one really open position, and that's at strong safety. And then they can solve that situation. Their 3 cornerbacks, getting rolling, should be the best 3 cornerbacks in football, you know, for defenses offenses go after. So I think the offense can do their thing. I think we got to be patient and let things play out. And I think, by all accounts, Jalen Hurts has really bought into his new offensive coordinator system.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Jalen play a couple series, let's say in game 2. We were talking the other day, I don't know who it was on Sports Talk Radio, about how coaches look at philosophies in preseason. And a lot of coaches, like in game 2 of the preseason, like to put their starters in for at least 1 or 2 series. And I wouldn't mind seeing Nick Sirianni do that as well. I'd like to see Jalen Hurts the first team out there. I don't know if they will be. I'd like to see them out there for at least a couple of series in game 2.
Is the Eagles having joint practices with the Patriots this week?
Yeah, I think this couple weeks.
I think Wednesday and Thursday they have joint practices.
Yeah,
Should be interesting. Like to be a scribe or a writer at those practices.
yeah.
Yes.
I should be interesting with AJ.
Then, yeah. Did you hear earlier that Frank Gutierrez passed away?
Yeah.
Frank Gutierrez passed away. So
They call him the Silver Fox too.
Yep,
don't they?
yep.
Yeah. Oh, Frank was a character. He
Yep,
really
he
was. And but Jack said it well with the Hall of Fame coaches earlier today. You know, Bob Zarbatani and Charlie Bartlett Jr. and Tony Izello. I mean, that was I tell this story and I'll say it again. We're up Williamsport, and we're young kids back then. We're in our mid-20s or whatever, and we were staying at the Sheraton up in Williamsport, and I went down to the lounge, and I see Bob Zarbatani, Frank Gutierrez, Charlie Bartlett Jr., all sitting at the
Tony
same
Izello.
table, and Tony Izello sitting at the same table talking. And I say, I thought they were bitter enemies, but here in coaching, that's why I love wrestling so much. Is the fraternity in wrestling is phenomenal. They compete against each other, but they really are what I would call associates or friends or whatever the case is. But what a great group! That's why I love wrestling, Bruce. It's that night after seeing that and then seeing how they.
Bruce saw it firsthand in 1978, right, Bruce? Yeah.
What do you see?
He was covering the regionals for WEST that year.
Well, he was with us.
He was with us in '78. We might have seen it earlier in the '70s, with Fred, but Bruce saw it firsthand because Dick enjoyed basketball a little bit more than wrestling. So
Right.
Dick was with Lafayette College in a postseason tournament or whatever, and Bruce had the assignment of putting up with us, right, Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Nazareth. Yeah, I was telling Mike Ventola, he was on with me 2 weeks ago, Lafayette was playing for third place at Kutztown's University's gymnasium, and Fred could sell anything, so he sold a spot to Braden Airport, right? And as soon as the game ended, Fred got in a helicopter and then landed on Kirby Fieldhouse's roof, and the Eastern Fire Company was waiting for him so Lafayette so he could do the Lafayette East Coast Conference game against LaSalle that night.
Well, I never heard that story.
Yeah, you never knew that story.
No, I
Yeah,
never heard that story.
yeah, that's not a story. It's the truth.
Well, Fred was a beaut. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but a lot of good memories with wrestling and basketball, and
Well, Frank can rest his soul. He was one of the Silver Foxes and one of the classic Saxon Hall of Fame coaches back in the '70s. So
yeah.
that's when I fell
Yeah,
in
John-
love with wrestling.
and Bruce. Sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was like 2-0, right? And they kept marching up and down the field, and they couldn't score. They got all kinds of yards. And so it was like a couple minutes to go in the game, and Liberty had the punt, and Mark Kletka, a Phillipsburg big player, blocked the punt, picked it up, and ran the ball to the end zone. And Phillipsburg was had about 2 first downs the whole night. Left the game 6-2, and I'm thinking as the game was over, and Frank walked over there and shaking with Bob Stevens, but how he must feel after not should have won the game by 2 touchdowns. But Phillipsburg won the game. It was the worst possible thing to a coach to lose a game, dominate to have a punt block to lose the situation.
Yeah, many memorable games. So, Bruce, how do you see the NFC East this year?
I think Dallas is going to edge out the Eagles for first place if they play good.
Okay, what they do in the playoff is what counts. Maybe by that time the Eagles' offense will be on all 8 cylinders, and they can revenge and get further than Dallas. So I can't disagree with you. It's going to be about the Dallas defense, and like I said, the Dallas defense can stop some people. Dallas should have a good team. Giants will be formidable, but I think still third, and I think Washington's in the most trouble in the division myself.
Yeah, with Jaden Daniels being so fragile, he just really it just is really amazing what he doesn't listen. Same way the quarterback of the Giants, they're so fragile and they keep running. Well, I think they're in college, and they get hurt. And but last year the Giant quarterback was in the tent 6 different times.
Yes.
Yesterday, last year, I mean, and Daniels was out almost the whole year last year. So it's the kind of thing where these kids got to grow up. I mean, you remember RG3 was I think he was rookie of the year, had a great future, and he just didn't learn to get down, and he kept on getting hurt, and then his career was over. Now he's doing broadcasting and color and all that, but these guys just don't learn, do they? So I mean, the Giants are going to do well. I mean, because I like Harbaugh, John Harbaugh as a coach. I mean, they'll get him lined up here, but the question is, are the Eagles better? And the question with Dallas, we know Dallas is going to be much better. They really rebuilt their defense with their trade of Micah Parsons, and then the trade to the Jets. I think getting that Williams kid. So they're gonna be good this year.
New defensive coordinator from the Eagles, their secondary coach.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see what happens here, but you want good football, you really do, and I'm looking forward to it. And so we'll see what happens here tonight. We'll get a little taste of the Eagles with their backups playing, and but it'll be fun. I mean, football is a lot better than whatever.
Bruce, you have 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing against the Bananas.
No, I don't.
Me-
I don't either. God bless them.
Bruce, do you have 10 minutes yet to spare with us?
Well, Jack, I'm looking at my social schedule right now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and
You're okay then.
I'll make it for you, okay?
Okay, let's talk a little baseball, of course. And Major League Baseball came out smelling like a rose on Thursday night. It doesn't usually happen a lot of times, but I thought the Field of Dreams was a fantastic event.
Well, I saw the highlights, and one thing that I would like to see is I would like the Phillies to wear those uniforms on Friday instead of the
Well,
Friday.
well, I would like to wear them as their road uniform period next year.
Yeah, the road uniforms are really
Blah.
They're old and they're blah, you know. And I would like to see them wear them the whole year next year. I agree, Bruce. I really like them. And you know, when you come out of where we have seats up in the Hall of Fame, when you come out of the Hall of Fame and go into the corridor there, they on the left hand side they have all the uniforms of the Phillies from 18 something to the current. And all the different
1883.
periods. And this was they said the other night was 1939 to 1941
One.
or two.
41.
41. This was their uniforms. I think they were sharp.
I
thought
did
they were
too.
Really sharp, yeah, they got to do something. I said to Jack, I love the Phillies uniform. I just wish they would change their.
They're changing the Friday uniform. I'm not sure what to, but they are changing the Friday
change
uniform.
it to that.
I'll tell you, some of these teams, though, their Friday uniforms, they'll just look at that. Anyway, I think the Phillies are basically playing playoff baseball. I took a look at the rest of the way, you know, because they're really going to be challenged. They win one of the games in the Twin Cities, but then you come home for three with the Marlins and the Cardinals. But then you leave on a 9-game West Coast trip to Seattle, and Seattle's all over the place, right? Last night they had a 2-run lead in the 10th inning, and the Astros come from behind to win 10-7. But the Phillies go to Seattle, they come out here to play the Angels, and I might try to get one of those games since the Angels are right now have about 15,000 people at their games because they're awful. And then they go to Arizona. So you got Seattle, the Angels, and Arizona, and then you come home for 4 games with the Braves. Then you're actually playing the Braves 7 times in a period of a week. You're also playing the Astros, who, as usual, now all of a sudden find themselves in first place. They're not what they used to be, but they're still a strong second-half team. And then you end the season at home with Milwaukee and Tampa Bay.
Whoa,
But they
two of the best records in baseball, right?
they do have the one. They do have 1 week that's easier in between there.
Well, yeah, the Phillies play lousy in New York, though, Jack.
You're right. You're correct.
And the Mets are playing a little bit better baseball right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Not they're 13 games. I mean, they're not going anywhere, but they are. Now all of a sudden, they're starting to win games. I think they did win 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, and I think I don't know, they won 2 out of 3 in Vegas. Maybe they swept the Pirates, you know. So, and they won last night. So I don't call that. I mean, you want to call it easier, but they don't hit well against the Mets.
No.
Hey, Bruce, if the Phillies are fortunate to make the last playoff spot, what do you see their odds against the Dodgers on a short 3-game series?
Well,
With our
right now, the Dodgers get big leads, and then when things, but every team struggles at times. And the Dodgers lost 7 in a row. They should have lost all 3 games in Arizona. Their closer Diaz that they got from the Mets. And I mentioned this last week, Jack, about Philadelphia being Bluebirds. You should have heard booing for Edward Diaz as he blew the game to the Brewers on them. You should have heard that booing. I thought it was Philadelphia, and every time the right fielder, big name right
Tucker?
comes to his bat, he gets booed, and he should get booed because he's been terrible. The last night the Dodgers won. But as I mentioned, the Dodgers are too. I right now they're a bit banged up. But what they do have coming back is, Snell pitched really well last night. They have their two rookie starters for the second year in a row have missed most of the season, but gotten healthy in mid-August. So talk about the trade deadline when you get people disabled, that's help.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Bruce, I had mentioned the quirky. One of the problems for the Phillies is that the American League is so weak, and that goes for everybody. So the Phillies conceivably could go 25-14 in their last 39 games, which I think they need to do, and still not make it because of the teams, the other teams in front of them, Arizona and San Diego and Chicago. You look, every night I scoreboard watch. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Every night you think you're going to get help from somebody. Milwaukee plays San Diego and leaves a dud. They're in the National League, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But, Cleveland, they lose. Every time you think you might get some help, those teams are losing. The American League is really, really weak.
Five of 15 teams are over 500, and those are, three of them are the big three from the American League East.
Right.
We're all moving to be in the playoffs. The White Sox hanging on a few games over 500 over, and the Tigers played school ball and they're back in it again. Minnesota, again, everybody 52 or 58, 54. But in the West, it's over 500, and that's it.
Okay.
I saw the Orioles I heard yesterday I was on the treadmill over at St. Luke's Anderson campus, and I was watching the MLB network, and they said that the O's are only 2 games out in the wild card. Yet they're under 500 by how many games?
I know.
6 games or 5 games?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. But in front of them is Toronto and who's the other team? Boston. Yeah.
And Boston went on that credible 30
Yankees.
30-5 run.
Yeah, the Yankees, Boston, Toronto,
Tampa Bay.
and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's leading, but the wild card is I guess there's 5 or 6 teams.
For the last spot.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. And Detroit's there, and it's just I don't know, whatever. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's nice. I love going into September with the pennant races and the wild card races, playoff races, and then football being played, and it's just it's a great month. And October's playoff baseball. It's just these next 2 months are going to be so exciting, and I'm really looking forward to. We had Mark Wognowich on earlier about Penn State, and they should be interesting this year. No new fresh face, and we'll see what happens there. And so, what do you think Southern Cal's going to do this year? Who's switching to football? Oh, geez. Yeah.
Everybody all charged up. Got some great players in the transfer portal. A lot of their players stayed, but who knows? USC and UCLA in the Big Ten, is a little bit tough. It's not a little bit tough; it's a lot tough. And so we'll have to see. But USC is going to come down to how well they do on defense. And down the field and scored a touchdown on him. And so, you know, we'll just see. But I think the coach. I was by there yesterday. I'm not going to go on too much longer, but I was by there yesterday. $200 million facility, football facility. It's like a crystal glass. I mean, it's like a Taj Mahal. And I seen it as it's being built. But I hadn't been down on campus for about 2 weeks, and they've begun. In fact, the football team is walking across the street a couple of football players were walking across the street as I was driving out of there, and they got a big time facility that they paid $200 million to construct, even though they had a very nice one before. But you know, as Denny and Jack, players are impressed by the way the locker room is. They have their own lazy boy chair to sit in, their numbers, you know, all that stuff.
Bruce, we'll close with your Christmas holiday. At 5:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve, the Eagles host the the Houston Texans. Okay. Later, you go to bed, you wake up, and at 2 o'clock Pacific Coast time, the 76ers are playing the Lakers. You're going to be in heaven, Bruce.
I know. I mean, I was reading an article prior this morning about all the games on, first of all, NFL games around the holidays, and there's not going to be any games left on Sunday. You know,
That's
the red zone's going to have like 2 games to go back and forth on.
yeah.
And what is it, Christmas? There's 11 NBA games or something. I mean, yeah, they've decided that on the holidays when the families get together, what did Mike Fieldsky say? Instead of that, maybe everybody's trying, they don't want to talk about politics and get mad at each other, so let's all get in front of the television and watch football and basketball.
Yeah.
Hey Bruce, I gotta tell you a funny story. I was in the hospital the other day and they were doing a procedure on me. And when I woke up, the first thing I heard my lovely wife Pat say was, LeBron signed with the Sixers. That's the first thing I heard. I thought I was hallucinating. You know,
I heard it. I walked down in my facility, and one of the operations guys was filling the CO2 tank, and he was looking at his phone, and he goes, "Hey Bruce, did you see that LeBron signed with the Sixers?" I'm like, "What?" And he showed me his phone, so I learned that some guy filling the cylinder with CO2.
yeah, well.
Going to be an interesting Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It should be a lot of fun.
Philadelphia has a lot of superstars right now.
Yeah, I didn't check the Flyer schedule. They may be out in L.A. or Anaheim that time too.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, over Christmas time. That's one of the reasons when I had tickets for the Sixers back in 2001, the year they won the championship in the East, lost to the Lakers in the finals. Anyway, I had them for a few years there, and one of the biggest reasons why I dropped them anyways, I got tired of going down. But one of the big drawbacks was I was working then, and I was off over, and I had some time off over Christmas, and every year I said, well, I can go down to a Sixer game and relax coming home. I don't have to go to work and all that. Every year they were away, and I said, God, give me a break, So anyway, but that was a different time for me. But that was always a drawback, I thought. But yeah, they're always out because Disney on Ice, right?
I'm very interesting. It's going to happen. It could be the same year. They're 2030-31. The new Eastern Area High School may be built by that time, and the new arena for the Sixers and Flyers may be built at the present where the Spectrum was. Will they keep the other arena? I really wish they would for concerts and other things, Disney on Ice, so the Sixers and Flyers could get their normal dates and not have to go away for the holidays each year.
Idea. That's a real good idea.
Well, they're putting one right across the street from where we park, and right where the Spectrum was. You may have to,
I was
yeah.
going to say, where's all the parking?
They'll probably have to tear down the present building, like I said.
But yeah, so that's very interesting. So they're going to build the facility out there.
Right,
Sixers.
right by Xfinity Live where we used to eat.
Yeah.
Right next door to that. That's where, yeah, it's coming next door.
Mhm.
Where the original
Aren't they
Spectrum
building
was.
shops there too and all
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a real strat. Like you guys have out in Los Angeles there. Don't you have a real big extravaganza there by the sports facility?
Yeah, LA Live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really
that's what it's going to be like Philly Live, and hopefully that will happen, and we'll see what Jeffrey Lurie does if he builds a retractable dome or just a open air stadium.
Where's he going to build it?
To be decided.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, plenty of room if they tear down the old, as we call it, Exmo right now. That's been the mobile arena where the Sixers and Flyers are playing right now.
think about this, and I know we're over time, but think about this though. Stadiums and arenas are considered old when they get 20 years, so we go build a new one.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars, that's really
Bad.
wrong with the link. There's nothing wrong with Citizens Bank. There's nothing wrong with whatever it's called now. There's nothing wrong with those.
No. And
Everybody rushing to build these new Taj Mahals. Just, and
John Middleton's on record. He wants to be the next Dodger Stadium and be there forever. He'll put every dollar he has to maintenance wise and every off
That's
season.
a beautiful facility.
He said he couldn't duplicate that.
No, you can. And numerous times I've been down there. And one of the things they really did great, Bruce, was that when you leave your seat and you walk around the concourse, you can watch the game at the same time. I used to go for a little stroll just to keep stretch my legs a little bit. And I would walk around and I would stop all the different spots, left field, center field, right field, first base, whatever. And I'd watch part of the game and then I would walk a little bit more and watch some more of the game, and then I get back to my seat. But it's just a beautiful facility, and I think the All-Star game showed that in the home run derby. Did you have a good time at the home run derby?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was just absolutely great.
Take your time.
baseball. Lakers sell for $12.5 billion. And if you don't think those baseball owners, I've said it three weeks in a row, all this is coming down to the value of baseball teams. Top price, $3.9 billion for the Padres. The Los Angeles Lakers sell for $12.5 billion. That's why the owners of the salary cap, that's why the owners of baseball and all this stuff. And that's why I don't know how much baseball we're going to have next year. That down note, I'm finished.
Okay.
Bruce, one last question. What's going on with Mark Walters that he has to sell the Lakers? What kind of trouble is he in?
That probably is, let's get on with it. With Denny, and I'll go.
Okay.
Mark Walters, okay, who got you that Mark Walters owned the Dodgers and still the Lakers for who knows how many months? He's got a possible tax fraud issue
Oh boy.
with the federal government because his organization ultimately, the key investors are also owners of a lot of LLCs, shell companies, and all this stuff like that. Two of them are insurance companies, and it was the internal loaning of money. In other words, his companies loaning money to one another and supposedly not reporting it correctly to the IRS. That's what that's about.
Okay.
Everybody can speculate about what that has to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about that. So I was just wondering what it was. So thank you. I appreciate that.
That's what it is. It's financial stuff that nobody understands except people on Wall Street and all those folks.
Okay, Bruce, thanks a lot for everything. Thanks for staying on 15, 20 minutes for us later.
Bruce, great talking to you. Yepper.
And Denny's doing quite well. He looks very much alive and very well. Oh, one last thing. Were you able to see that John Luce's daughter passed away? Lauren Luce passed away at 29 years young. And we had Mark Wogenrich on, and Mark was so fond of her. I was fond of her. I worked in 2 different schools with 9 years with her. Oh, did you? Yeah, and she was just the salt of the earth.
Yeah, she was great.
She was fantastic. So, my heart's out to the Luce family. So, okay, we'll end on that, and have a great day, and thanks for staying on a little extra. Okay, bye bye.
Take care, Bruce.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, I will. Bye. Does he know I'm going for procedure? Did you tell him?
What?
You
Yeah,
told him, Bruce?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel good. Everything.
You look good.
Down to 183, Jack.
Wow.
I don't know when.
Guess who came, Mom? Brian's here, so Denny can talk to him personally.
Good.
Oh, where is
No, he's trimming some grass yet.
he? Mm-hmm.
It won't take him that long.
I
So.
can pee right now. So. Hi, Gladys.
I woke up at 8:30 and I thought, I'm not getting up, I'm going back to sleep. Why went back to sleep?
Well, I think you deserve it.
You know?
I gotta pee right now, and I'll be right out. I brought a jacket for Jack.
Oh, it's a beautiful jacket.
It's from '93. I call it Jim Ferrozzi jacket.
Show went good.
Yeah, for the most part.
I make my bed or anything, I gotta do that. I just brush my teeth, mark my face, and here I am.